Welcome back to Ask the Attorney. We're here with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. Already lots of questions.
Yeah, we love it. Love to help.
Yeah, no criminal stuff today yet,
Yeah,
but lots of civil, family law
Don't worry,
questions.
somewhere if we live long enough, we'll be dancing with a criminal charge somewhere in life.
That is true. Please keep calling that number, 737-plus, 737-7587. It's your chance. You got a free attorney right here. You rarely get that chance.
Let's do it. You know, when we were saying that, remember, loose lips sink ships every time. You don't have to say everything. You know, stop back, and that's one of the things on everything we do. Lawyers, insurance, IRS. You let your lawyer go between you. You don't have to make any statements that would be used against you. And you know, all these guys, they come on me and they say, Kevin, we want to interview your man. No, we don't do that here at the Kennedy Law Firm. Yeah. And I said, I'll tell you, I'll help you any way we can, but we are protecting our clients. And what they say, 90% of the people that are in jail are there because they talked. So if you heard anything, just say, Kevin Kennedy. We had one guy got pulled over and he said, I don't know what you're telling these guys, Kevin. I said, what are you talking? He said, I pulled him over and all he could say is, call Kevin Kennedy. I said, that guy was smart. He said, I turned him loose. He was so intense.
Hello, come in.
Hello, come in. That's right.
I think we have, let's see, I believe it's Ray here. Hi, Ray.
Hey, how you doing?
Great, Ray.
Got another question. I'm a book author, and I am looking for an attorney to represent me. And because when I go to publishing companies, they always say, "Oh, you need an attorney to represent you."
Yes.
So, how hard is that to find an attorney that will represent me?
That's not hard at all. And you know, I have written and published 5 books myself. No one really taught me, and of course I saw the same thing that you. They'd say, well, who is your attorney? And I always said, well, I'm an attorney. But you know, when you write your manuscript, I love for people, somebody's going to get inspired tonight about writing a book that they know something about. Write the book. Get it edited with someone who understands English and get all the corrections. You know, one more trick is you might even run it through one of the Google searches so that there is no copyright infringement on any idea. And you know, my work, I've thought of some great ideas. I was always creative, but guess what? It would come up, some other guy had thought of other things too. My words were different. But that's what I would do, get it in, and then I would submit it for a copyright. And then once I had my copyright on that, then I would shop it to publishers and say, will you buy the manuscript? And will you take it that way? If they're great ideas, they'll take, you know, Zig Ziglar was one of my heroes, and I talked to Zig, and he said, Kevin, you know, one of my greatest books, couldn't get anybody to publish it, so I self-published it. And of course, the rest is history, and he became a best-selling author in New York Times. And men like that inspired me to write my books.
Yeah, that's amazing. You've got
Thank
5
you for
books.
the question.
All right, we have a call here, Lee on line 1. Hi, Lee.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lee.
Oh, yeah. I just wanted to ask about this case in Murfreesboro.
Okay.
Where a young man was.
Hey, Lee,
stopped for
if I might.
DUI, but he passed all the tests. He wasn't DUI.
Okay.
And they're still trying to make him plead to something. He had some sort of medication, but his doctor, he had a letter from his doctor saying that it wouldn't prevent him from driving.
I got you. Here's what we do. Remember, if you're pulled over, and I'm not the best driver in the world, you know, occasionally I'm daydreaming and I might
That's why you always bring one of your other lawyers
yeah, I
here
have
to
to
drive
somebody
you.
to help me while I'm thinking all the time. And so, you know, I've been pulled over before, and one guy said, have you been drinking? I said, no, I'm a teetotaler. And this officer, we were out of state, and he said, can I search your truck? And of course, there was nothing there but some saddles. And I said, go ahead. And he said, what's in that box? And I had a box of Gideon Bibles in the front. Well, you know, he was really kind of aggressive with me. And I told him who I was and where I was from. And I went to shake his hand. He said, I don't shake anybody's hand. I said, okay. And there's a young officer. He went back to check. But, you know, I could have easily been charged. They ran my record, said, you are who you say you are. Yes, sir. And we left. But you can be charged anytime for a misunderstanding. And so if you are charged, then that's when you need a lawyer to explain away what happened. One of my greatest cases ever was a DUI, and I went to the district attorney, and of course the police officer got him, and he said, your man couldn't walk, and your man couldn't talk. And the DA was really kind of aggressive, a friend of mine. And I said, you cannot win this one. Let me explain. And he said, well, you can explain, but we're going to convict him. And I said, well, you're going to get embarrassed. Because I said, and I've done a lot of jury trials, won 11 jury trials in a row. That was bam, bam. And really what it was, I said, you're right. He couldn't talk because he had had an injury, brain injury in Vietnam, and he stuttered. And I said, you're right. He couldn't walk. Because of the brain injury, he couldn't walk correctly. But I said, you needed me to explain, and the police wouldn't listen to it. They cuffed him and stuffed him and assumed. That's why we have a jury trial. That's why you hire a good lawyer. That's why you get somebody to stand up and fight for you and say, wait a minute. You can present your side, let us present our side, and let 12 peers call it. I submit to you that jury trial, I would have steamrolled through that,
yep.
But after we talked, he said, okay, I'm going to listen, and we negotiated right out of it.
Yeah, and it's never a sure bet. The very first jury trial I had was a DUI, and the woman was acquitted, and they didn't have probable cause to stop her in the first place.
Never say never. Never give in, never give out, and never give up.
Right, we've got Gerhardt here, and I know Gerhardt's called before. Welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you. I got a question for Mr. Kennedy. It's a two-part question. First, it was on a news talk show I watched about the Veterans Department Affairs.
Okay.
And the employees, they were allowed to take a break and play the game, a live version of the game Hungry Hippo.
Okay.
And do they get paid for doing that? Because that state time.
Yes.
If somebody doesn't have VA benefits, like recently, I believe it was Jesse Ventura had a lawsuit about it. It was a family regarding the VA, and the family was supposed to have the VA benefits, but instead they awarded it to him. Is that fair? And
no.
My second part is whenever you have a lawsuit and you have a court hearing and you ask for a jury trial, and you don't have a jury, would that be considered a mistrial? And I'll hang up the list.
That's good. An ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. Benjamin Franklin said that 200 years ago. So what does that say to us? If I ask for a jury trial, I have an absolute right to a jury trial. I'd have a lawyer in advance. Many times, when people go to court, I'll represent myself. There's an old adage. The man who represents himself has a fool for a lawyer and a fool for a client. Don't do it. I wouldn't do it. I don't want Amy to do it. I don't want my children to do it. Okay, it is not a mistrial. A mistrial happens when certain evidence comes in and it shouldn't come in, and it is so egregious that it makes it prejudices the client. And so the judge says, there's no way we can correct this. We're going to call a mistrial and we start all over again. I really, really cannot urge you enough that we have constitutional rights. And sometimes you need an advocate. Strong people stand up for themselves and stronger stand up for others. And there is a difference in lawyers. Some lawyers, well, I don't really want to fight. There's a great place for those. And then some people say, I don't feel comfortable talking in front of the court. Or there's bully lawyers. And I said, no one likes a bully. We don't like him on the playground. We don't like him in the courtroom. And somebody will put them in their place, whether it's a judge or another lawyer. You will reap what you sow. That's been said a long time ago. So what goes around comes around.
Right. Got JC here. Hi, JC. JC, are you with us?
We may have lost him.
All right, we may have lost JC. Let's try Nancy here. Nancy, good evening.
Yes. Yes, I am Nancy. I'm here.
All right, and Nancy, you may have your TV set up a little bit if you'll just turn it all the way down and just talk to us through the phone.
Yes. Yes, I am Nancy. I'm here. All right. Okay. Now.
All right. Go ahead.
Yes, I bought property, and the property says that my sewer is on the city line. Well, long after I lived here, and I kept having problems with my sewage, my stool and so forth getting stopped up, I finally found out that I have a septic tank. But I brought this house thinking thinking that I was tied to the city.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I've been in this house a long time now, you know, over 10 years. And so is there anything that I can do about buying this house thinking that I am tied to the city?
We see this problem happen quite often. Look, a good understanding keeps down a misunderstanding. When let the buyer beware, caveat emptor. So if I'm purchasing a house, you need to ask all the questions. That's why you need to have somebody with you to say, is this on city sewer? And in your contract, if they represent it's on city sewer, that's a misrepresentation of a material fact, and that would give rise that you could attack the contract and perhaps make them hook you up with the city and go. Again, you're going to dance a jig. Was it fraud? Was it a statute of limitations problem? We don't really know. We'd have to talk further and see. But if you could find the original documents, the other point I've said, don't throw away those closing statements. Someday you may get sued and you need to pull it out. And that could be the very thing that would protect you and help you in one of those situations. So see if you can find your old contracts, what you bought, what was represented, and then take it to a lawyer and see what they think.
All right, well, we've got more advice coming up with Kevin Kennedy. We're going to take a quick break, but please keep calling that number, and we'll be back in a few minutes.